To Angel and Heidi ho, everyone. Happy hump day to you and everybody in the room. It's great to have you on board as always. And let's hope we can continue the good run of the week so far and get some more money in the bank as we go through the day. Of course, it being Wednesday, we will be with Ainsley a little bit later on talking gold, and I'm sure she's got a smile on her face, if not cheering ear to ear. Ash, of course, will be with me very, very shortly. And all of you guys, of course, are welcome, as always, to put your ideas into the chat or even raise your hand, and you can come into the room at any time and tell us what you think. After all, we did get another trade yesterday from Gyra, who alerted us to the Euro CAD situation, and we managed to jump on that. So all good. You guys are just as much contributors to the show as we are, and we'd love to hear your opinions and share your ideas on whatever's on your mind. Okay. Are we going to trade a breakout today on the pound is the question, as always, first up. And my goodness, we are in so many pound positions at the moment. It is ridiculous. Just before I go there, if you're in pound Kiwi from this morning, and only those of you who were in the Telegram group probably would be, I haven't even got this trade on this account, but there's the trade there. If you haven't taken TP1 at 96.41, which was the high of this bar, my TP1 was 96.44, then I would suggest, pursuant to my rules, that you consider either A, moving your stop loss to entry, or B, taking profit now-ish, although you have missed the high. I would suggest doing one of those two things, because you don't want to turn this into a loser by missing TP1 by like 2.5 pips. That's just silly. So I'll leave that one in your capable hands as to how you want to manage that. But I have moved stocks to entry on my account. So if it goes back to where 96.15, I'm out, and I'm okay with that. Don't mind. We'll update pound. Pound CAD's very similar, actually. Again, missed TP1 by a 71 or 71.48. I don't know how much we missed that by. A little bit. I'm okay whilst we're above the daily pivot here. So whilst ever we're above the daily pivot on the 4-hour, I'll hang on to that. If we come back below the daily pivot, I will cease and desist. Righto, breakout trade. Look, we are, we are ranging, I suppose, inside the 2 days. So let's do it again, shall we? We're going to go long above here, and we're going to go short below here. So I'll give you those levels. I won't write them on here because I've got too much writing all over my charts, all about pound and pound CAD and pound Kiwi and all sorts of things. Hi guys. Hello, Lewis. Hello, Bryos. Hello. What is TP2? On which one? Bryos, TP2 on which one? I'll let you know. If you can give me the cross, that would be good. I mean, so many trades at the moment. Okay. Pound US dollar. So we're going long. I'll write this down. We're buying at, again, guys, if you're here for the first time, or pound Kiwi, okay. If you're here for the first time or you haven't seen this done before, this is a test. We're just testing forward and working out the best way to trade this breakout. So at the moment, I'm trading 2-day range, and we're trading the breakout of the high, breakout of the low at the very same time. And if we get triggered long, we cancel the short. And if we get triggered short, we cancel the long. So the long entry will be at 1.4222. 1.4222. 1.4222. And the stop loss will be the entry for the short, which will be 1.4122. Oh, it's got a ring about it, hasn't it? Easy to remember. So there you go. We're buying at 1.4222 and we are selling at 1.4122. Sounds easy, doesn't it? All right, let's put those into the markets. Again, toy money here, guys. Just toy money. We're only trying to get data. That's all. 4222 and stop loss 4122. That's for the buy. And for the sell, completely the opposite of that. Not at that risk factor, that risk factor. Sell stop, 1.4122. How do I remember that? Well, it's not hard, but you've got to understand that I remind the elephants. Pound Kiwi. Okay, Pound Kiwi, TP2. I haven't nominated a TP2. There you go. TP1 has just been hit anyway, so that precludes all of that prior information that I gave you. So TP1 on Pound Kiwi, TP2, yeah. Let's go with there. Let's go with whatever that is, 1.9753. Let's go with 1.9750, hey? So 100 pips from where we are, pretty much. There you go. Subra. Subra, are you Bryos as well? That doesn't seem likely. I haven't met Bryos, I don't think. Anyway, glad to have you here, both of you, as always. Righto, so let's update a few things, shall we? Pound Kiwi, firstly, as you now know, the daily has hit TP1, so your stop loss should be, depending on whether you had time to do what I said previously, should be at 9644. So 29 pips from there would be 9586. So stop loss now at 1.9586. I'll put that on there so we have a reference point. 9586 is about there. So there's your trailing stop. It's underneath the open of today's bar, which is a pretty good place. Why did we trade this, guys? I'm going to leave that up to you to tell me why we traded this. And you should know, because I say it every single day. Okay, got it, Subra. Cheers, mate. So, yes, I want you to tell me why we traded this. What was the instigation of this trade? Why did I want to go long here? That's on the daily. And don't forget, we also have an order, same pair on the monthly, which won't trigger until this bar's high is taken out. So that's playing the false break. Pretty much playing into that as well. So this was something that I couldn't deny this morning. Updating other pairs. Right. Aussie yen, I have an order short. Yay, I have an order short on Aussie yen. And there it is. Finally, that is set up for me today. Why? Give you a hint. Similar reason to why I traded Pound Kiwi on the daily as well. This one not as obvious, but it is still there. And I'll give you a hint. KR is the hint, but Pound Kiwi was a bit better than KR. There you go. That's about as good a hint as I can give you. That's not quite the same as pick the euro dollar price, because there is no prize at the end of this one, but there you go. Okay, so Aussie yen daily, we are selling at 84.61, which is underneath this bar here. it's the daily bar, of course, and the stop loss is above. TP1 on that is at 84.35, which is pretty much where my red line is. Why? Well, we're trading into this level here, which has been former resistance and strong resistance, and also support. So we want to be taking profit there before we even, well, as we get there would be good. We may, John, you're onto it. We may have to reassess if it starts to falter at that level. Okay, what else are we in? You know all about the pound trades. We're in £3 US dollars. Well, we haven't triggered this one. We're in a breakout from Monday. We're still in the hourly trade that we took on Monday as well. This trade here, where we traded that bar. So that's still running. We've taken profit one, and I can't remember if we took second profit there, but we've certainly got our stop loss in good shape. It's in positive territory, in fact, above our entry. So that's all good. Pound CAD, go back to pound CAD. Now, same applies with pound CAD. This is the only one we've got at risk at the moment, I believe. Okay, cheers, Lewis. Yeah, this is the only one we've got at risk at the moment. Why did we trade this one? Q, same reason. Key reversal bar, inside bar, second inside bar. That means that there's got to be some momentum building in here somewhere, some energy. It hasn't really released as much as I anticipated that it might. So this is the only one that we do have at risk. But, you know, the pound is just giving us and giving us and giving us at the moment. So I'll stick with it. And where our TP1 again is at 171.48. We're 30 pips from there or 29 pips from there. So just keep your eye on that one. Again, if it closes 4 hours below the daily pivot, I will close it. I don't want to take any money out of the bank that we've already got from pound CAD. And don't forget, we're in short as well. How long have we been in short? Some time, I think. Can't remember. But we're still in that, free trading that, and the stop loss is in a safe position. So that's all good. What else have we got to update? There are so many trades in the market at the moment. Pound, we know all about the pound. Euro CAD. Euro CAD, this is Jaira's pick up yesterday. He said to me, is there a 4-hour long available on Euro CAD? And we spoke about this, and we spoke about this being a potential right shoulder, and we put our entry right there. We put our stop loss right there. And bingo, another one well spotted by Jaira. So that you should have at least one profit in the bank. You probably should now consider, given that we're at this level or very close to that level, if you haven't taken a second profit, I would seriously consider that at around about where we are. We're at what, DR 76? It's only DR1, but we are at a confluence area there, and we've also got an untested daily pivot. Now, we've also got a broken neckline here, which is probably through there. So a retest of that looks interesting today. And if you want to take profit now, you may be able to pick up another bit down here somewhere. But remember, there's an untested daily pivot below us as well. And I think that's where we're up to. Pound Kiwi we've been through. We've hit TP1 on that. Gee, I think we're done. Just about. Euro CAD we mentioned. Yep, all good. So, my goodness me, Ash, it's a busy week. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing good, mate. Doing good. Just building into some FTSE shorts. So let me just quickly show you that it's not necessarily the price that everybody would want. So there is a chance to get a better price than I've got, and I'm just going to build into it. So yesterday I was looking at the longs, and I had to fix a few things up in the end yesterday, because Well, it didn't go. It didn't go long. It started. It kept coming down, and just so everybody understands the way I did it, what I had to do was, and I share this just as a little bit of an insight, and I'm not saying that you should trade this way. I'm just saying that this is a way you can do things. So the FTSE continued to fall, and I was buying. I think I bought the high, and then I was buying here. I think I was buying around here. And initially, I just kept the position on. And what I did was I waited for the US market to open, and I had to flip open the NASDAQ. And then when the US market opened up, the long trades that I took, I hedged out with shorts in the NASDAQ. So I had to balance that up. I made no money. I think I made £2 in the end yesterday. So I made no money yesterday pretty much. And it was really stressful because I had to kind of, see if I could kind of get out at a break even point, which I have done. So now I'm free to kind of, do something else, which is trade the FTSE short. So that's what I'm doing now with the FTSE short. The monthly pivot is the obvious target down here. I'm again building in gently just to kind of give myself enough room. The thing is, if I'd gone in heavily with a FTSE long yesterday, then I would have had no kind of wiggle room for leveraging out a different position and hedging out a different position. So this is one of the reasons I just don't like leverage very much at all. It's just not agreeable for me. So I'm going in light again, and what I'll do is I'm going to continue to go short. Now I'm short here, so anybody who wants to get short, the obvious sort of like place would be to start thinking about the structure. So let's have a look at what we've got here, and let me just bring up this just so I can look at it somewhere else. There we go. So it's not really confusing now. This high here looks pretty good. So the second short's going to go in here at 69.80. 69.80. There we go. And then I can sort of like probably build in some others. But let's have a look at this on a fib. And firstly, let's talk about what's going on and the key aspect. And what was really interesting, I was looking at the FTSE yesterday, and one of the reasons that I was still quite keen on the long was that the market wasn't really breaking down. When I looked at some of the stocks that were in the FTSE, they weren't really breaking down. And then I unearthed Vodafone, which was down 7%. Now Vodafone's not. It's one of the bigger players, but if you bear in mind that it's around about a third of the size of BHP, which is the biggest stock by market cap in the FTSE, then it's not right up there with the behemoths, but it is one of the biggest players. But for that to be down 6% when everything else is kind of fluctuating into zero, negative, and into kind of a positive territory by about 1%, it was quite damaging for the FTSE. So FTSE, the FTSE yesterday did have a drag down. Now it is under pressure because of inflation. By the sounds of it, all of the markets seem to be under some pressure because of inflation. The Nasdaq is the same. It's just not too happy with the inflation picture. And Bailey yesterday said that there was talk of tapering potentially from the Bank of England. So they are starting to recognize it. Now that is a different rhetoric that we've seen from the Fed, who are pretty much suggesting that inflation is transitory and it won't be very long before we start to see it level off. At this stage, the market is not in agreement with the Fed. And we have seen an easing to the downside, but it is just an easing, which I think is quite interesting, because even though I am looking for the shorts today, I'm looking to get in and out if I can, then what I'll look for eventually is a buying opportunity. Now, I think this area down here is pretty good. That's the monthly pivot area today, or for the month. So that's the target. But I feel pretty good about that because there's this support level down here which is much further below, and there's this support level here which is much further below as well. The monthly pivot. So I think that target is pretty good. So my target there is around about 6,900. The entries are around about 6,950 so far, but I'm going to go in again at 6,980 to the downside. What was I going to mention now? Oh yeah. Generally speaking, the markets are okay. So at some point it will, in my opinion, it's going to be, it will probably continue to bounce around in here. You can see that this is a previous breakout level that it's struggling at, and also when you look at the bigger picture, then it kind of becomes like an obvious point of resistance up here on the bigger picture as well, because of what's going on here with the longer term time frame. This is the monthly chart here, so you can see why the market is struggling at this particular level. So it's got a price point, and it's got the driver, and as I say, the driver is very much down to inflation. So I think there's probably some more downside to come, but I am still looking to pick the FTSE 100 up, and you know, if there's no inflation involved, then picking it up right away down to around about 6,600 I think is okay. So I'm going to look for that, mate. I might start building positions in from 67.80 to the upside, and this would probably be something that I'm more likely to hold on to, and I'll continue right the way down to 6,600. But yeah, as you say, an exciting week or a busy week and a busy day is looking like it's ahead of us. Now, I presume Ainsley is in today, and I will have a question. Oh, there's Ainsley. I can see her in the room. Just on this on gold. I think gold is looking quite interesting, and the pattern I've got, and the reason I'd like to ask, what I'd like to ask Ainsley is what does she believe the price of gold could get to? Because the pattern I've got when I look at this weekly chart gives me this channel that we've broken out of, or we're attempting to break out of, I should say. And that on the measured move, if that is the channel, that on the measured moves takes us back to the highs. So we're looking at around about the 2,100 level, somewhere around about there. My real question is, as Ainsley, have you got a higher price than that? Or would that be around about where you think, okay, that's where I'll start kind of taking some profit off the table?
2,100. It didn't quite reach 2,100. It went to
2080, is it?
60. Was it 78?
2070. Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where it went to.
Hello, by the way.
Hi, how are we? I just got, let's talk gold. Yeah. Because, I'd like to then talk Bitcoin, but let's talk gold.
Oh yeah, we should talk Bitcoin. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi guys. Hi everyone. Hi Lewis. So that was the bull flag that channel that you've got going there is the bull flag that I've had up for the last several weeks, actually, since that double bottom.
Yeah.
11 weeks ago. So I've been bleating on about that. And just saying, here's the bottom end of the channel. I'm expecting it, and we got a double bounce, and then we got a higher low, and then it's gone through and it's broken through the top end of that channel. But if you look on a bigger picture, if you just shrink that in a little bit more, Ash, you'll see that makes it an incredible bull flag. So if you take the flagpole, you could even go. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's use this. So you're going to use it from here?
You could, yeah, nice, yeah, because that's pretty much where it starts. You look at that. Repeat that one. You go to the top of the flag.
I can't even get to.
You can't even get to the top number. It's a super
number. Can I do it here? No, I can't. I can't even scroll down far enough. I mean, it's probably. I suppose if this is.
It's up around 3,000. If that takes.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move along. So that's what we're
Q5
looking
maybe.
at. So if you use that as a technical pattern and a setup, not just a channel, 2100 would be obviously a reasonable place to head for a first target and then review what's going on then. But in typical gold fashion, we've had a bit of a breakout, and I'm just a little bit nervous with gold. And every time I've had a breakout, or we have had a breakout since the beginning of the year, it's sort of been a breakout and then a complete reversal and straight back into the box again. And it's just like, oh, so there's been no traction, there's been no continuation of the trend. But at the moment, we have a bit of a move up and then a bit of a consolidation and then a slow move up. So it's not moving anywhere with the momentum and force that it did last year, but it's still moving now in the right direction after we've had that technical setup of the double bottom and then higher low and then a breakout of a consolidation box and a retracement and a retest of that breakout and then a gradual move. It went looking for the 200 simple moving average. It went screaming through that, but that was I think on Sunday or Sunday week ago, we were talking about it will go looking for, it's like tree roots looking for water. Gold will always tend to go looking for the 200 simple moving average if it's within spitting distance, and that's exactly what it did. And now it's just having a nice little break around that 1871 mark and just hanging there for the moment while all the other markets are certainly going in crazy directions. Bitcoin,
they are. Hold on one second. I just
so
want to get
that one's an interesting market. Oil, what are you up?
I'm just going to make sure that this is going to go in, actually.
Let's
get rid of that and just put that on manually. Okay, so I'm short on the FTSE again there. Let's have a look at oil.
Oil had such a dramatic move last night. And I'll tell you what happened there was a meeting in Vienna, and it wasn't about oil. It was about Iran being let back into handle nuclear power. So that was a really interesting thing. And we had this immediate reaction on oil, which went flying down off its highs of 67. So it made it to 67, and then all these meetings this meeting in Vienna, and Russia's saying, well, yeah, let Iran back in. That's not a problem. So and Iran's looking at taking a stake in Exxon, and Iraq's talking about upping their production, and there are a few other little bits and pieces all happening with oil overnight. And it culminated, the main one obviously was that meeting in Vienna. And it's just, as I said, and I've been saying, oil at the moment, once upon a time you could wait for your crude oil inventories, which come out early Sydney time about, well, depending on daylight saving, somewhere between 12:30 and 2:30 in the morning. And that was what we used to look for in trading oil, waiting for a move. Now it just is, somebody says something and it just goes, it's so sensitive. And the fundamentals are really, you're just looking at that chart. Look at that chart and look how look at the long tails. You know,
how long ago was that, how long have you seen that kind of transition into, the news-based kind of knee-jerk reaction actually moving oil?
Especially after that big fall last year. Look, oil used to be that really neat little thing. It would have this neat little pullback. You just put your entry in, and you stop above your shooting star or your gravestone doji, and then just let it go down a couple of bars, or wherever.
Is that is that because that's the in your opinion, is that the where we are now in society, where because of media and because of the way that things can get onto Reddit and people can react, this is why a lot of markets, not just the crypto market, which is getting these huge moves when on tweets and on small news things. Do you think that is the market now, where we are just kind of?
I think it is, and I think it's a greed factor to quote Gordon Gekko, feed the greed. But if people think they're going to make money, they will pile in. And what you see a lot of in those technical levels is they pile in when they hear the news. So they're reacting to the news and trading the news, and then stops get hit and the movement is accelerated. And then you've got this sudden sudden halt at levels where people take profits, and all of a sudden everything starts to drop away again. So you're just seeing this very volatile, and you can call it volatile because how long has it been since we've seen such long tails on charts, particularly oil?
Yeah.
So it's just actually, John, you're right. Yeah, ever since Donald Trump came in and everything was a tweet on Twitter, or he was bad mouthing somebody at his business or whatever, and everybody's like, hang on, whoa, because it was just such an automatic reaction to what the hell's going on now. But
interesting,
oil. Yeah, in oil, so much so, and so much has happened. But oil, particularly since April last year, people say things and it doesn't matter who it is. It's OPEC, and that's come from sensitivity because they were so insensitive to what was happening in the market. Everybody seems to have learnt the lesson a little bit more. So if you remember, what caused that big fall was the Russians. Everybody was told to cut their quota. The Russians didn't want to. Mexico got a special deal. Russia wasn't going to do what they be told to be done by Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia decided right before COVID implications and everything shutting down, decided they'd flood the market because their cost of oil production was far less than Russian oil, and tried to burn them. The only thing is that they just burnt the whole industry. So yes, when people are saying, when they've got nasty rhetoric flying, the boys aren't playing nicely in the sandpit. We do have that sensitivity because people remember what happened.
Yeah. So let's think about the markets then. Jeff, you've just taken an Aussie yen.
Yep.
Short, which obviously I'm very pleased about because you're finally giving me the seal of approval.
Finally got it set up.
You got to set up. So and you showed everybody the setup on that.
Yep.
Okay, I think I was just coming into the room at that time, so I think I missed it. But I'm interested to hear what you're both saying about the Aussie. Actually, but as residents of the country, interested about your kind of overview. I think you've
it's fundamentally flawed. The trade's fundamentally flawed, frankly.
Right. Okay.
But I feel the yen is due for a rally, and I feel the Aussie, I said it again yesterday, didn't I? I don't know that this $1 trillion debt that we've signed ourselves up for is a healthy thing, frankly. Too much can go wrong between now and then, and that's why I've got just a little bit. I think medium term rather, I'll turn back into an Aussie bull, but at the moment I'm not.
Yeah,
I've got the SH1Ts with the government, I think.
And what about your opinion on this? I'm
looking at the commodity market. I'm looking at China stockpiling iron ore. I'm looking at the demand in copper. I'm looking at the increase in the miners actually getting government approval to increase how many tons per year they can mine because there is a demand for the commodities. So iron ore, steel, coal, copper's obviously coming up. Copper's had a bit of a pullback at the moment, but I'm not worried because I've been in it for a while. So you expect that. And we had last week it was good because China put a couple of huge orders through the London Metals Exchange after the holidays last Thursday and Friday, and really bumped up the price. And when you have that, you do expect a bit of a pullback after that happens. But for me, the Australian dollar, I don't like the $1 trillion debt. However, I'm looking at a different basis. It's not, they're going to make a ton load of money out of the commodities, and despite the rhetoric and the nastiness and negativity between China,
if it continues, yes, 100%.
Yeah, if it continues,
it's got to continue.
Yes.
And as you say, if China decides that they've got enough in their stockpiles of iron ore, well, then what's his name? Ziggy Twiggy, whatever his bloody name, Twiggy Forrest. he suddenly pissing in the
Twiggy's-
wind.
Yeah, Twiggy isn't looking to be a trillionaire next week. He'll just be a billionaire. He'll live.
Yeah, poor
So
old
will
fella.
Gina.
But
Um,
you don't think it's got a little bit of room now for some breathing space and a retrace? That's where I'm at.
The Aussie dollar, probably. I mean, she went pretty strong up to 78.
No, the commodities. Sorry, the commodities.
Commodities. When have we?
Pardon?
When have we had a breather in commodities?
Well, that's what I'm asking. Are we due for one?
What, the last 50 years?
I'm not talking long term. I'm talking today,
Um,
tomorrow, till the end of the week, maybe. Things like that.
Maybe. I don't know.
I
Jeff.
trade on a far smaller time frame. You see.
I
Well, I
just think-
do
Oh,
trade
well,
in monthlies as well. But
No, I'm just looking post-pandemic. You look at the history. You do the research on the history of economies coming out of post-pandemic, whether it be Spanish flu or whatever it was. Every economy has had major growth after a huge pandemic, and it's just historically the way it goes. So if you do,
you're talking about the kind of longer term structural aspect of these commodities, and I think what Jeff's getting at is the exhalation of air after the huge inhalation that we've kind of had with this stuff, and are we kind of due that? Just a bit of like, okay, let's rest up a bit. We've all got a bit of ahead of ourselves. Let's come back and find what the new price point is, which will be higher, of course, because as you say, commodities will continue to be used. But are we kind of due that point where we just do, even with oil, are we kind of due that little bit of pullback in these commodities because we've seen such a surge? And you mentioned Bitcoin earlier. We are. Just when everybody says this time it's different and it's going to the moon and it's never coming back, then we just get this thing where we see that that's just not the case. Are we kind of due that right now with commodities where we've pushed up a lot? Is it time for a bit of a break?
Quite possibly. I tend to look longer term, by the way. I don't tend to look at all
I
my trades are longer term. I don't look at an hourly chart.
Yeah.
But
and on that basis, we agree with you. I think the Aussie has got far better prospects in medium to long term. But I'm looking for a little bit of a pause in that.
Pause. Well, look at gold. It's and let's use gold. It's not moved as quickly as it did last year.
Yeah, well, Lewis is asking you something there, eh? He's saying, do you see a correction on gold to the next support level? Well, let's bring that up again. Support level before the next big move.
Big move. Or what's going to generate the big move? Is it the inflation story?
It's got to be, hasn't it?
I watched that CPI figure last week, and I looked at it, and gold plummeted, and I'm looking at it going, I wish somebody would just hurry up and do calculations and just work out that yields are still negative. It took a little bit. It took a few hours. Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm holding on for grim death. But yeah, it took a while, and then she bounced and off she went. So that I was happy with that.
I mean, this to me looks like the obvious pattern, and I think I've brought this up before. What I personally see with gold.
Ash, I can't see
that. Sorry, the camera's in the way. 1900s.
Or round level, round number.
Round level, round number, and gold likes those, right? From what I gather.
Yep.
What I would like to see with gold. This looks ideal to me. That's what we've got in my opinion, potentially forming. We've
got 1550. I'll bop you.
No, it's definitely not coming there now, is it? So I wonder whether we can find some resistance in this area and then come back, test the trend line, which would coincide somewhere with this low here. Now, I don't think it's going to come all the way back, but so we might end up with a higher a higher right shoulder, and then you get the opportunity. I mean, that's what I would be looking at, Lewis. Ainsley's much more qualified than I am with gold. All I'm looking at is a picture.
You're pretty spot on there, though, Ash. With 1900, and we've seen it before. It gets to a round number, it'll go up, hit it, and come back down again, and then have another attempt at it, and then break through. So I won't be. It's not unusual. It's quite common for gold to do that. And at the moment, I don't know if you're in the room, but it was just I just said gold has been moving up. goes sideways, consolidates, might drift down a bit again, hit the level it's broken out of, and then we'll keep going again. So it's just the way it tends to move.
Yeah, and
It's
I suppose
levels.
the thing with it is that this is where you almost get two opportunities to think about how you want to trade this, don't you? You get the intraday opportunity, which suggests that you will probably see 1900, during some, at some point, maybe even during this month. But so you can take the intraday trades there, or you can take the longer term position where you wait for the pullback and try and trade it along this trend line, which means that if it does that, which obviously it could do, then you miss out here. So you've always got to kind of like figure out which way do I
corner,
want.
mate. That's me.
Yeah. So
what's that one?
Jules did this Coward's
That's
Corner.
Coward's Corner. That's me.
Yeah. But Jules did this the other night, and I got in. He didn't. He had his order set at 1803.
Yep.
On a pullback, and I went in at market and I just wore it for a bit. And what did I go in? 1811, I think. 1811. It went to 1809. I was in, and he didn't get filled. So you want to play it safe with gold. It mightn't do that.
Yeah.
It mightn't get the pullback. You might have enough momentum where people just go bang 1900 and it keeps going.
Yeah.
So,
well, it doesn't look like it's coming back to 1550. However, what I will say is
what will you say?
What I will say is that this bar here is currently unformed, and this could quite easily still happen. That could quite easily still happen, technically speaking. Now, if we sort of like agree that what's driving gold higher is inflation, the inflation picture seems to be getting more supportive of gold. So it's looking less likely. But technically, this is not yet broken out. Whatever pattern we call this hasn't broken out. All it's done is it's testing the level. So by the end of this week, then I will concede that it's not coming back to 1550 as long as it closes above 1875. If it doesn't, actually, even if it does, if it comes back inside, then I think it's still on. But if it doesn't, then yeah, okay, I'm going to say I'm not going to get my.
That's a long drop, though, bub. It's a
I know.
long way.
I know, but you know what? I mean, yes, it is a long drop. However, when we look at this, and this is the next thing that I think is important to talk about in many respects. Now, I don't know whether this is going to be completely unbiased, but let's bring it up anyway. This is also a long drop, and it can happen. Bitcoin is now broken to the downside. What's concerning, technically, is this head and shoulders. Now, I'm going to make this as conservative as possible and see whether we've got much further to go.
You know what a long drop is, Ash, don't you?
What's a long drop?
It's an outback toilet.
I didn't know that, and I'm glad I do.
If you come to Australia and you go to the outback, you'll learn.
Really quickly. And we're not talking septic either.
No, you don't drop a match down there.
I see what you mean.
That's if you haven't been bitten on the bum by a redback or a brown snake. So, you know, take chances. Now,
look at that. Actually, I mean, it depends on where you draw the measured move, but I think that's okay. That's as conservative as I can get. Obviously, if you were being a little bit harsher on Bitcoin, then it's a lot higher. But it looks to me like we've come to the measured move of the head and shoulders. But that has fallen. Now, obviously, Bitcoin is a slightly different beast. But if we consider that it's fallen effectively from 65, almost 50%. I mean, it's dropped down definitely between 40 and 45%. So stuff can drop. And okay, the difference with gold, of course, is that the move hasn't been quite as extreme, and that's what we've seen with Bitcoin, and that's what we've been looking at Ethereum. And I looked at Ethereum's monthly bar earlier on. Look at the state of that. I mean, we are not anywhere really near the end of the month yet, but this is a bar that if it doesn't start to pick back up into its body or into its tail, is going to look like Ethereum is crashing quite a bit further.
Look, you could almost sing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star" there, or "Shooting Star."
Well, you're right, actually. Yeah, you're right. It does look like a huge, a huge star really up there. But that would definitely suggest that we're going to attempt to make the evening star, 3-bar pattern. Now,
that's actually insane. That is insane.
Yeah, and my insanity, following the insanity theory, what moved it? What moved Bitcoin? Because it wasn't a fundamental, a tradable, investable concept. It was moved by, shall we say, a strategic move by one person who said he's no longer going to allow Bitcoin to be used crypto to be used in his company.
Well, do you know what I thought was interesting about that is that what seemed to move Bitcoin was the word "indeed." When he was asked something and he went "indeed," and then it just went boom. But I think it's bigger than that. I think that the thing with cryptocurrencies is that I think everybody is waiting for the SEC and many others to come down hard and start regulating. And there's enough whispers. What's that? Sorry.
You see PBOC overnight.
Yes, exactly. No? So this is where we get this domino effect. So yes, Elon Musk will move out a lot of the retail, unsophisticated guys that are just, they bought at the highs because they just think it's going to the moon and it'll never come back, and they've panicked and they've got out. So those guys are now getting out of the way. I think what's more significant, the environmental thing, I don't buy that at all, because that's been going on for years. Everybody's known that Bitcoin is incredibly environmentally insufficient.
And you don't think somebody who builds electric cars would know that little information? Oh, give me a break.
Exactly.
Sorry,
exactly.
Not
So
that at all.
it's not that, but what I think is interesting right now is the as I say, that the regulatory bodies and what they will end up doing to the crypto market. Now, that doesn't mean, in my opinion, that it's all over. It just means that there's a better price to come, because what will eventually happen is the really good cryptocurrencies will survive it, because they will be able to sustain the regulation without too many problems. They'll have a strategy that they're probably already putting in place. But the likes of Doge and some others, I mean, that's obviously the most extreme, are really just bringing the spotlight onto the crypto market. And the crypto market is still relatively young. And just like the Wild West, eventually you do need some laws. And I wonder whether that's what we might start getting. I don't know. But when this was all going on over the last few months, before the crash, when this was all going on, there was no question that cryptos were going to continue to the upside and never come back for at least 12 months. Now we're sort of here going, okay, now what crypto coins are we actually genuinely interested in? Let's not just buy everything because everything is going up. Let's think about what we're genuinely interested in, because they will survive. There is a world outside and for the crypto market, undoubtedly. So which ones are the good ones? And this is where the sophisticated investor has to come into play. Now, I don't class myself in that category, because I don't have enough thorough education in the crypto market. But Shukri certainly will have, and he'll be looking around and still picking the good coins and still doing the right thing. But this is, you can see what's happened to quite a few people. A lot of people have already been burned, haven't they?
Yeah, true. My point is, and I've said this for a long time, the fact that there are people that are invested in this quite heavily, who want obviously for the price to keep going up and up and up and up and all the way to the moon. And we've heard it. We've heard Turkey, the government's banned it there. People's Republic of China, they are wanting to they want their people to use their own digital currency. I'm not saying that the crypto or the digital currency is to be ignored or extinct. What I'm saying is that you're going to have central banks and regulation come to a point where they're just saying, hang on, whoa, this is not an alternative currency. We can't control or tax or do whatever. It's
Yeah.
going to be a regulatory move, and we've started to see the infiltration of people trying to governments trying to say, well, hold the phone. You've got something that's being moved because somebody tweets. Okay, all right, we had all of that with Donald Trump. We get it, but when gold moves, it's in relation to an inflation figure or in relation to an economic fundamental situation, not because somebody's doing a pump and dump job on a commodity.
Yeah.
I think
Well-
the difference is it'll be the regulation. It will be something that the governments need to get a handle on. And at the moment, I think they're just seeing how it's playing out and where it goes to. But you know, 50%. What was it? 64,000? Did it get to 64,000? It's now now puddling around at 39.
Yeah, about 40. Yeah, yeah. I mean, so when I look at all the crypto charts, I start to get excited again because I think they got too out of whack. Just like everything does, you know, everything just gets a bit out of whack and everybody gets a little bit too keen on things.
Is that looking like a tulip chart to you? You know,
Yeah, yeah,
tulips.
yeah.
1600s, 1600s. Yeah, I'm right. I'm with you, John. The genie's out of the bottle. Yeah. So John's just said the genie's out of the bottle, will never go back in. And I agree. I think it's been a lot of governments are, you know, dealing with pandemics and, you know, other little minor things like the economy is crashing, for them to actually go chasing after crypto. Now that things are starting to get back on, they're just going to, they're looking to say, well, hang on a minute, this is just out of control.
Yeah. 40K. Am I still interested in Bitcoin at 40K? Absolutely, mate. Yeah, for sure. For sure. That doesn't mean I'm just going to buy at 40K, however. But yes, I am really interested. And I suppose this is a question for both you and Jeff and the room as well. What's everybody's thought on this stuff now? Bitcoin, Ethereum, and cryptocurrencies. Are you all of a sudden starting to get interested because the price is now getting lower? I'm not saying it's attractive yet because it could come even lower. We don't know yet. Are you thinking, oh, this whole thing's all done and I'm glad I'm not involved? Or are you not really that interested in them? You know, is it something that people still want to put in their portfolio is the real question? Or are you quite happy just to continue to ignore it?
If I understood it, I'd be okay with it. But I don't understand it. I'm in Ainsley's corner, I think, because there's nothing fundamentally right, if I can put it that way. You see that little shape you've got there on the left of your screen that looks like a pyramid?
On the left of my screen?
Where it goes straight up and comes straight down.
Oh, yeah.
Now that's not normal. And yes, we have V-shaped recoveries and the reverse of that. But if it looks like a pyramid and it smells like a pyramid, chances are it's a pyramid. And I really do think that there is a lot of, and I hesitate to call it corruption. I'll call it manipulation. And I don't really want to be involved in that. Is there money to be made? Absolutely, there's money to be made. No question. But at the end of the day, if you're making money, I reckon you want to get it in the bank as quick as you can and get the hell out of cryptocurrencies very, very soon, I would have thought, because I feel that the end of this big gain stuff is just around the corner.
Yeah. That's the word. It's a game.
So you think it's all over, Jeff?
No. I think blockchain will survive. What that looks like in the future is absolutely beyond me. And it's, you know, how long have I been saying this, Ash? Blockchain will survive, whether Bitcoin is a derivative of that or whether any other one of these coins is. I agree with what Ainsley said, and I've been saying it since Bitcoin began. I think, well, no, not quite, but since we started on the show. I don't believe that Bitcoin will survive long term. Blockchain will. What digital currency looks like in the future, I really have no idea, but I think it will be regulated, absolutely. and for exactly the same reasons as Ainsley said before, and that's exactly what I've been saying from the start. As soon as the central banks and governments get a handle on how to control this, they will.
I think John makes the point that if they ban this, something else will replace it, and I suppose that's the probably the state of play that we are, because the governments and central banks have been slow, and I would probably say that they are just behind the curve when it comes down to, and I was going to say dumb, but of course they're not dumb people, but I wonder whether they're just a bit outdated, and they didn't see it coming because it's so new and fresh and of a generation that they just weren't really taking part of, and thinking that money would always stay the same, that they are just behind the curve on it. And I agree with John. I think that by the time they kind of get on the train with it, on board, somebody else would have come up with something else, and they're going to be behind again.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's going to rule the world. I mean, the trade of the world will not be in Bitcoin, in my opinion. It will not be. So you won't be able to buy, or China won't be able to buy iron ore from Twiggy Forest.
Yeah.
with Bitcoin. I don't believe that will take place. It will be, yes, I think it will be some blockchain derivative, and it will be digital currency. When, I don't know. Yeah. But I'm almost certain that it won't be in Bitcoins.
Yeah. Well, I think this is where the space interests me the most, actually. It's not so much the currency of cryptocurrencies. I like the technology and the blockchain behind it. I like smart contracts, and I like the other things, the other doors that it seems to open. So I'm with you on that, mate. I am completely with you on that. Okay, so we've what's that, eh?
It would be interesting to see where it goes, but I think Jeff and I both, and it's not from and I'd like to say, I know I say I don't get it, but like I said, my trading brain doesn't get I get buy and sell and balance the ledger, that I get. But as Jeff said, if it looks like a pyramid, smells like a pyramid, and somebody can just manipulate it like it's some kind of game to them, then, and we're not talking about small market cap. So it is like Dogecoin, whatever it was, it increased in value, market cap value from 50 billion to 79 billion in just under 3 weeks.
I know. And this is where we go back to the dot-com bubble, right? And this is where, as long as you had a tech startup company, you were going to make money during the dot-com boom. And then all of a sudden it flushed everybody out, and what you were left with was the behemoths. And I suppose that's when I look at cryptocurrencies, I think the likes of Ethereum, probably Bitcoin. I've got kind of mixed feelings about Bitcoin in many respects, but I've always liked Ethereum, Cardano and Polkadot and Stellar, and maybe Litecoin as well. There's a few of them out there that you kind of go, XRP, that you sort of go, actually there's a use case for this stuff. And are these going to be the ones, the Amazons and the Microsofts that did survive that dot-com bust? But there obviously are the likes of Dogecoin that would just probably implode, just like it did during the dot-com bubble, as I say, when companies just didn't have actually anything about them, so inevitably they were going to collapse. And that's what I'm saying about when the regulation comes in. I think that it's just about from this point I think you genuinely have to start going, let's pay some attention here and do some research if we want to participate in this market. Let's not just go because somebody said, oh, this coin's the next thing, let's go and start purchasing that. Let's start thinking about where the use case is, because I still think that there's money in these markets to be made, and I still think it is the future. But most of them probably will get left behind in the next run, because it's evolving, isn't it? It's an evolving industry, and it's evolving technology.
I like John's question. He said the devil's question is not manipulation present every day in the markets.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Particularly in gold.
Well, gold, but you're going to see this more with options or with people trading. There are more people trading now than ever.
Yeah.
Okay. But yes, the central bank, you want to see manipulation, you should have started trading 10 years ago. And central banks didn't even have to manipulate the market by being in it. They just had to release a press statement and they could manipulate the market.
Yeah.
They didn't even have to buy it. And if it didn't go far enough, then they started buying or selling or doing whatever. They did it. The central banks were in it up to their eyeballs. Absolutely.
Oh, you bang on. Draghi was the king of that, wasn't he? He was absolutely brilliant at manipulating the market by words and rhetoric. Amazing.
Yeah. And it was what was said, and that's why you had to listen to those. I mean, a Draghi statement, I could break that down. He would be saying how everything is going really, really, really well, and about 4 to 5 minutes into his speech, he would say, however.
Yeah.
And as soon as he said that, however, and he started, bang. And I think a lot of the algos were programmed to pick up on the however.
Yeah. I think you're probably right.
We're going to raise interest rates in 2027.
Yeah. If he left another long enough pause, then the market would react. Yeah.
So it was that kind of thing. So there is manipulation, but to the extent we're just seeing, like I said, market caps that are based on no product, no anything, and you're looking at speculation, and that speculation and that money being manipulated by very few. We're not talking about governments, so you get a bit of a handle, because at the end of the day, they're only going to do it for so long, because the coffers are only at such a point, because they can't keep market manipulating. But with this kind of thing, when did Elon Musk release the statement? I bet he didn't buy after he made that statement that he was going to allow crypto, Bitcoin, to be used for the purchase of his cars and then reverse it. I mean, he made his biggest profit in his business not from selling cars for Tesla.
Well, do you know how he's been making money for the last 10 years or however long it's been, Elon Musk? Not as you say, not by selling cars, but by selling carbon credits. Because they get all their carbon credits, and then they sell them on to other people. Now, I don't want to be an Elon Musk
junkie.
I don't want to discredit him, because he's one clever dude, and part of me kind of looks at what he's up to with Twitter and stuff, and that's his ego. That's completely separate thing. But what he's trying to do, I think,
he's also on top of the pyramid.
He is.
Yes.
He is.
And that's the thing with the pyramid. Where have you got to be? You got to be at the top. You got to
be at the top. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's wrap it up, and let's just have a quick run around the grounds of what we're doing trading wise, and any trades that we got in the market, and if there's any updates.
Can you have a quick look at the S&P? I was going to pull up the S&P report, and that is, I think we're on our way down with. I think we're ready to go. Look at that. We're tanking nicely.
Okay, so targets?
Hey, bottom of that green bar is a good one to start.
This one here?
Yeah, that's a good one to start. And then if it clips through there, your next one is the the top of that breaker.
Yeah.
I'm glad you could read my mind. in there, Ash. Yeah. So, yeah. Gordon's been banging on about this for some time.
Who has?
Did you listen to the Trader Cafe that Julian did with Gordon the other week? Yeah,
I did.
Poor buggers. Both of them, they've had me as a student. They both can speak. They're versed in Ainsley speak. I mean, poor guys, they're brilliant.
Yeah.
Poor things.
That looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah. So there we go.
So actually, we might be looking at a few levels here.
Yeah.
Well, it is, because if it's depends on when. I mean, that's 37. We're currently at 4. So it looks like a potential.
Yeah, we're about to break 41.
It's not. Yeah, it's a 10% or so drop, I think, to the downside, which is going to spook a lot of people. But actually, it's not that bad. I mean, it's in the longer term. I don't think it's spooking that people enough. The interest rate.
It's a reasonable trade.
It's a great trade. Yeah, no, I agree with you. As a trade, it's there, isn't it? Investments. I think that people will probably be quite happy to see some pullback and then buy back in after a 10% or so a retracement in the S&P. Okay, so we're short on the S&P. Happy with that. I will quickly update you on the FTSE, and then I will pass to Jeff to update you on his trades, and hopefully he will get to the Aussie yen, because I missed his update on that.
I'll
I
do it
want to
again.
hear it. Okay, so with the FTSE, I am just aiming for the monthly pivot, and I'm just building in, really. Get out of it. I'm just building into positions. Now, this is because I have decided to go with a strategy of what I consider first contact. So first point of contact. And there might well be another one. Possibly, but I think the most obvious one is the monthly pivot. So I'm just building in the shorts on the FTSE. I'm going to close the whole position at the monthly pivot. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean I think everybody else should, because this is just the approach that I've chosen to take and test out, if you like. It's a bit of a test strategy that I'm currently trading, which is doing pretty well. I mean, to be fair, yesterday was the first losing day for, I think, 11 maybe, near there anyway. So it's going pretty well. So we'll see how we get on today. But I'm aiming for the monthly pivot. Now, if it pops to the upside, stops I will play stops in a moment when I'm off there, but stops are going to be above this this weekly pivot for this particular trade, and I think that means that I will probably above the above the weekly pivot for the trade, the daily pivot actually, because it's above, and I'll probably continue to add right the way up to the weekly pivot if it pops up. This will be another point of entry if I can get it at 69.80. So I'm going to continue to add short stops above the daily pivot, and I'm looking down to the monthly pivot to get out of the whole thing. Okay, mate, over to you.
Righto, bud. Let's do it. There's a fair bit to get through, but we'll speed through it. First up, Jaira's got another one, and he's looking to buy pound US dollar. He's telling me he's got a slingshot set up, and I can see exactly what he's talking about. Mate, this one I'm not going with you, and the reason is this: you could take it, no problem. And here's how you'd have to trade it, in my humble opinion. Your entry is going to be there, right, above those bars. You're going to have to put your stop loss under here now. So 30 pips. Here's your first take profit, in my humble opinion, at just on 9. So that doesn't really do it for me. It'll want to be 10 or better for me to take the trade. But you're also trading straight into the high here. And that high looks to be fairly interesting. There's a big double top potentially forming here. So I don't know that there's much more than that that initial burst, which may take you to that high. So I'm just going to stay out of that one. And mind you, we are still in 1, 2, 3, 4 positions with the pound long. So I don't really need another one. They're all safe, but I don't really, no, pound CAD's not yet, but I don't really need another one. So that's my stance on pound US dollar. So pursuant to what I've just said, the 4 positions that we still have on the pound, we've got 2 on pound US dollar currently running. Both stops are above entry. So we're trailing and have taken profit on both twice, I think. Today, if we survive today and this does go long, then I will probably move my stops again underneath that swing there overnight. We'll see, but I'll update you on that tomorrow. Pound Kiwi has hit TP1, as we said before. TP2 is here at 197.53. And I'm not sure if I get out there. I probably would get out there, or certainly most of it, because that's going to run into strong resistance at that level. And if it breaks through that level, we've got a monthly trade that'll take over from it as well, triggering above that candle. So again, I'll update you on that if it gets there. Aussie yen for Ash. Okay, I don't know. I'm just about to be triggered on Aussie yen by the look of it. Reason I'm in it, Ash, is this. Daily chart is telling me that we've had a false break of this resistance trade line, which is also, well, probably a trend line at the time as well. And we got that big bar that didn't take out the previous highs. So that's an indication to me that we're weakening here. Then we got this doji bar or spinning top bar, which was followed by a key reversal bar. Now, a key reversal bar, as you know, for me, is a candle whose high is higher than the previous day and closes on or near its low. Now, because that's got a white body, it also gives me a very, very nice taste in the mouth. And therefore, I want to trade that short. I'm going to take profit very quickly, however, because I don't know that it's got the strength to go reverse from here. But if it, and it has got a bit of work to do, it's got to get through this level, it's got to get through the monthly pivot, and that will be the tail of the tape. If it breaks the monthly pivot and retests it, then I'll scale in heavily, because I think that's going to be a beauty if that is the case. But it's got that work to do. So quick take profit on that one. If we get there, pound CAD, as I said before, you might consider taking an early profit here, but so far so good on the pound today. CAD's interesting because of that oil situation. If that continues to flounder, or should I say flounder? Yeah, retrace heavily, then this trade will be good, I should imagine, and you'll get a TP1 off that without too much trouble. How far now? We've got about 19 pips before we get a TP1, but just be careful, because you are at a resistance level, and if you don't get TP1, then consider moving your stops to entry on that one, because you don't want it to reverse on you and take you out, which is entirely possible because it is in a downtrend. What else have we got? We've got Euro CAD. Oh, Euro dollar. I'll get back to that. There might be trade on Euro dollar in the next 20 minutes, and I'll give you the parameters around that as well. Euro CAD, we have taken first profit on that. Second profit is up to you guys. I have moved my stops, obviously, to a safe place, so can't lose on this. In fact, they're above entry, so we'll only be winning. That's my take profit too, actually. I haven't taken anything off the table, but I have moved my stops above, or sorry, below the daily pivot. I think this is a take profit area. If it does hit there and starts to flounder, then I would consider taking more off the table. I'll give it the chance to reverse. I don't know that it can, but I'll give it the chance to reverse. And don't forget, we are still in this Euro CAD trade from January 14th. I think we got into that. So that's nearly 5 months old now, the trade. And like I said, we could still be here at Christmas time talking about this trade that we've been in Euro CAD. The other one, pound Kiwi, I've been through. Gee whiz, I think that's it, mate. I think we're just about done. So I'll go back to the Euro. And here's a trade coming, guys. If we do get this bar to be bullish and decisive, in particular, if it retests that trend line and or that trend line, or if it does that one, it'll do that one, you've got a double banger here. You've got a clear false break of that resistance area, and even an ascending triangle, if you like. So it'll give lie to that. If we do get a bull bar here, you can place your entry underneath that bar. We've got a new low. That's cool. You can trade into that. Pardon me. So put your entry below the bar, and your stop loss probably above that level there would be my contention. You've got to take profit just before the daily pivot, probably at the open of that bar there, or maybe even a bit higher. I'll give you that level. Yeah, you want to be taking profit at 122.05 in my humble. And if this does reverse, you can probably look to there as your target. I wouldn't want to be trading beyond that, 120, 169. But that'll be a handy little trade if it does turn up. The parameter is, or the rule is, if this candle is bullish and retests and closes on or about that level or that level, then take the trade. That's me, buddy.
Great stuff, mate. Okay, fantastic. Well, let's wrap it up. Thanks as always, Ainsley. I think it's been a really interesting session today, and got some really good insights in the way you're thinking about things. Last day tomorrow. John, are you ready for the quiz?
Oh, the quiz.
I think there's been lots of material this week. All good. Well done, mate. I think there's been lots of material this week that should provide lots of good questions for the quiz.
Oh, I can read his mind. He's going to say, "What is a long drop?" Question 10. What's a long drop?
Yeah, it'll be question 2. Anyway, I will, then let's wrap it up there. Thanks so much, A. Thanks so much, Jeff.
See you guys.
And the guys in the room, as always, really enjoyed it. Thanks to Angel for your aid in producing the show. I guess we'll be back tomorrow with the quiz to do it all again. You'll be in at 5 to 8, won't you, Jeff?
I will, mate. And you won't be late either, will you?
No, I won't.
All right. Lewis. Sorry, mate.
He was doing his hair.
Oh, no, it's the old way to sign off, but there's a new way now because it's a trigger for Angel, and I'm not there yet. Lewis, I hope you got the third Aussie yen treatment, because I have been through it twice today and once if you're not in the Telegram group, it's in the Telegram group. I did a full analysis on that this morning, and if you're not in the Telegram group, you should be. And also euro dollar contest, the link is all over the place, so don't forget the euro dollar at the end of the week, that contest, and we will give you the results of that next Monday.
Brilliant. And also don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button as well on YouTube, just to kind of bump us up the league. That's what we need. So yeah, if you like the show, then hit like. If you don't like the show, then don't hit anything, but come back again and see if we can convince you next time.
All right. Thanks, Ash. Thanks, A. Thanks, everybody who contributed in the room. Bye-bye.